Alright guys, welcome back. Let's move on to create those little patches here on the foot. Okay, so what I can do is go grab my original foot data mesh geometry and then duplicate it. Okay, now grab the new one and then use select curve, and let's do the patch in the front, so something like this. Okay, I can also go just add the original one there. Okay, now I can Control Shift and click on the front one and then go delete hidden. Okay, it's underneath geometry, modify topology, and delete hidden. Okay, and one more thing you want to go for is zero measure, which is this guy here. Okay, zero measure, and then target point amount, the default setting should be 5. Zero measure it. Okay, it's gonna reevaluate the model and then create a more reasonable topology for it. I'm gonna zero measure it multiple times until ZBrush kinda gave me repetitive similar results. That way ZBrush is doing its best to get a proper resolution topology. When that's done, and then I can lower down to a very low value and then zero measure it again. Okay, and then I can keep doing that until I got some reasonable topology. Okay, it can never be quite okay though. Sometimes you got this kind of thing. Anyway, I don't need the bottom at all, so I'm gonna BZM ZModeler and then use the delete and delete the entire poly loop and then just delete that loop, and then also change the target to island and then delete that island. Okay, that way I have only a piece for the front patch. Okay, if you look at it from the inside, you can see through it. To fix that problem, you can go for display properties and turn on the double to see the other side. You can flip the normal by pressing flip. Okay, so what I want to do is BZM again, use QMesh and QMesh the entire polygon and QMesh me like that. When I'm doing that, you see that I'm having the issue of the flipped normal. I can flip it back that way. Okay, let me flip it first and then QMesh it in, so that way I can see the thickness. It's about that thick, and then I think it's a little bit too thick, maybe something like that. Okay, and then I can go maybe bevel the edge here. Okay, all right. That looks nice, and now you can see I can easily create this kind of patching on the show, nice and clean. Okay, it's a combination of zero measure and then ZModeler. Okay, now let me Control D to really subdivide it multiple times. Okay, and then I can holding down Control and click on the thickness polygroup here, and then smooth the mask. Alright, and then what I'm gonna do, before I do that, I better save it. Shoe 02. Okay, the thing I'm gonna do is deformation and then inflate balloon. Okay, that's gonna inflate it this way. I can also just try inflate. You know, the reason I do that is I want to have the edge to be, you know, extend it out a little bit or have some thickness. All right, so after some inflate balloon, I think that's it. I think maybe I want it to be sharper actually, so let me sharper the mask and then inflate it. Okay, and then clear the mask, and then you can see now the edge is having a little bit of indentation there. Okay, that way it will feel more natural. Okay, just a little bit things like that would help actually a lot. You know what, let me make it even sharper and balloon it. Okay, and clear the mask. Okay, now I get it. Alright, now if you want to have more detail, you can of course do something like the stitching, but maybe we can do that later. Especially things like this, you can do it here, right? But can you texture it later on? How do you make that a white stitching color? It's actually not that easy to do, so we can actually also leave that kind of detailing in substance painter. Okay. All right. Now I have one little patch created like this. The other patches are actually the same way. So maybe I can fast forward on our other patches while I'm creating those. Alright guys, so I have this another patch created down there, this guy here. Okay, so that one, my original one, because I'm extruding in, so it's getting too big. I can of course do something like a inflate, just to inflate it in like that. Okay. Okay, so what do I do next? Well, there will be another patch I have to create for the middle, but this one is gonna be a little bit difficult. Because it has, like, you know, some variations like that. So what I'm going to do is use again the same thing. Let me duplicate that. I'm going to clip curve, slash out the shape using slash curve. Okay, it reaches here and then do something like that. Rotate back. And then connect here at the bottom. I think that's what that is. Okay. If I do that, I got something like this. Okay, and I don't need the top. Slash that off. I don't need the back. Can slash that off too. Okay. And then I don't need the bottom, so I can mask the top ones, and then just slash the bottom out. Okay. And then go delete hidden, group everything together. Okay, now with those two patches I can then go, oh, just one patch actually, I can then go for a zero measure. Don't know why it's already 32. Zero measure it. Okay, and then again just zero measure it multiple times until the topology is getting more and more reasonable. Okay, and then lower down the amount to 1 or smaller than 1 to get a proper topology. Okay, Alright, now I want to start changing the shape a little bit. The reason being for that is because the laces are in the middle, right? The patch is not exactly contacting of the inner patch here, so they're going out a little bit. I'm gonna use my edge polish, holding them out to get those things out a little bit. Oh, you know what? I can actually mask the other areas I don't want to touch too much, so less so out those ones. Okay, and then use edge polish, holding them out just to, you know, make them go out a little bit. Okay, so they're flipping out a little bit. Okay, like that. For the top, I can go to this angle and do that. It's gonna make them go outwards like that. Okay, smooth that a little bit and drag them around. You know, do whatever adjustments you need to do before you creating more things on it, because the shape actually matters a lot. You want the shape to be, the basic shape to be good enough before you move on to other things. Okay, maybe that shouldn't go out too much. Okay, smooth that out. Alright, so for this patch there are more things happening on it. For example, if you look at the picture, you have the holes here. Okay, oh, actually, you have the holes here with some sort of, you know, metal circle on it. Those ones are like that. I don't really want to do that. Okay, but still it does have a lot of things happening on it. Okay, there is its stitching line. Maybe it's like a different patch here attached on the bottom one. Okay, so you can do all those things if you wanted to do, but for now let me just create those. Oh, one more thing I didn't do here is that, okay, I do have all those things here, but what if I want to do this? It's flipping out, right? So how can I make it flip out? Well, what I'm gonna do here will be mask the area I want to flip out. Okay, Control W to give it a group. Okay, and then use the BZM QMesh, QMesh a poly group out, and then QMesh that out. Okay, and then you want to consider the thickness here, so it has to be going like, look at the top here, that's the actual thickness you want to think about. Okay, drag that out. Okay, and then you want to mask the top, and then use delete poly loop. Okay, so delete that loop. Okay, I need to delete that guy too. Okay, alright, now if you look at it, it's decent, but the thing is, what's happening here? Okay, what's happening here is that the bottom poly group, this purple one, compared to the reddish purple one, their normal are not the same direction. So to fix that, I can Control Shift and isolate this guy, and then go to poly display properties and then flip it. Okay, that way I have the consistent normal direction, and then I can turn on double just to see them all. Okay, now another change I want to do, of course, is, you know, if you look at that guy, it's like flipping into all crazy directions. I can do some changes here too. Okay, like I can go grab those, maybe sorry, mask those, and then maybe just drag those around just to make it more organic. Okay, can use the edge polish again. That's a very nice way of, you know, pushing things out to, you know, the outer direction. Or you can just use move to any brush, move brush, any brush you're familiar with, to just manipulate the geometry. Just gonna pop that out a little bit. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Let's polish it out. Okay. all the other ones on the back. Not sure, maybe just drag them out using a super big brush. Just drag them out like that. Smooth this guy here. Okay, and drag that out a little bit. Just trying to give it a more organic variation there. Okay. Alright. Let me do some more smoothing. And maybe I can go bevel that edge. Like this. Okay. So that's this a more complicated patch. Okay, before we move on to do more stuff, let's stop this tutorial, and then in the next tutorial I'm gonna go do more stuff like the holes for the laces, maybe extrude out the thickness. Okay, so see you next time.